for headache and relieves the symptoms of flu, cold, and catarrh. F-Pack blows away the pain associated with sore throats. During and after a hard day's work, F-Pack relieves you of body pain. After the day's sport workout, F-Pack helps the body to control the aching muscles. F-Pack is effective against feverishness and rheumatic pains. F-Pack reduces body temperature associated with malaria and other fevers. F-Pack is not recommended for children less than 16 years of age, ulcer, and asthmatic patients, pregnant and lactating mothers. If symptoms persist for more than 2 days, consult your doctor. F-Pack blows your pain away.
F-Pack Junior is a trusted friend to relieve your child of pain associated with teething, catarrh, cold, and fever. The good that F-Pack does for you, F-Pack Junior does for your child. F-Pack Junior is for children between 6 months and 12 years. If symptoms persist for more than 2 days, consult your doctor. F-Pack Junior blows your child's pain away. This advertisement is FDA approved.
Obi na invite me say memra wedding. Na me bedroom here. Me hwe am for dressing. There's more room for improvement. Me say Messi afa me ho me gina ha. Mr. Ultimate mo. Me nya kire wo say wo wura Ultimate Fashions mo. Reginald Kenneth Cole, Max Fendi, Perry Jacob, and member chefs papa bi. Italian shoes, slippers, sandals, khaki, material trousers, office wear. Enye na wo. Enye member nko a wo. Ema die wo. Emmanuel ma ye sheko wedding, party, engagement. Brands from across the world. Ellen Trace, Adriana Papel, Jones New York, Tehari, Casper, any baby keka ho. Se mo hia mo ho sa na se mo da na di sa no a. Mo nda na di spectacularly. Said ye be ya enkrofo be hu se oh wodro no edi mu. Wedding gown, wedding gown. Kolanta de ni nyina wo Ultimate Fashion. O mapon wedding no. Would you take comment here by me?
I like your dressing.
Medase.
Abrantie, why you do?
Oh, thank you.
Hey, why for now, Barabe?
Oh, Debbie, Edum here. Kumasi Ultimate Fashions, our prisons runabout. Accra, opposite UTC. Ultimate Fashion. Beauty is our style.
Hey, this one Gantuan account.
Why are you running?
It's all about the EcoBank salary account.
EcoBank salary account. Why? You gonna make me fly?
I promise it will make your pockets rise. The salary account comes with many incredible benefits like free life insurance, which covers permanent total disability, critical illness, hospitalization, temporal disability, retrenchment, and death. Also save while you spend, access loans, get free debit cards, and the chance to double your salary and more in the EcoBank Double Salary Promo Reloaded. It's starting from this May to July 31st, 2023. And there are so many other consolation prizes to be won.
Hey, no wonder my hand was itching. This is the perfect account for my salary.
So go ahead, open an EcoBank salary account today. You also stand a chance to win more than double your salary from 1st of May to the 31st of July in the EcoBank Double Salary Promo Reloaded. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is under the supervision of the National Lottery Authority under the Caritas Lottery Platform. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
In the book of Psalm, chapter 63, verse 1, David said, "Early will I seek thee." Abraham was an early riser. Joshua was an early riser. Moses was an early riser. Jesus prayed early in the morning. David also prayed early in the morning. What about you? Be an early riser as you join God's servant, the pastor, Obed Joy Obeng, on Prayer Line on Love 99.5 FM from Mondays through to Fridays, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. each day. Prayer Line, the presence of the Lord is here. Prayer Line, commanding your morning to influence your day. In the book of Psalm, chapter 63, verse 1, David said, "Early will I seek thee." Abraham was an early riser. Joshua was an early riser. Moses was an early riser. Jesus prayed early in the morning. David also prayed early in the morning. What about you? Be an early riser as you join God's servant, the pastor, Obed Joy Obeng, on Prayer Line on Love 99.5 FM from Mondays through to Fridays, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. each day. Prayer Line, the presence of the Lord is here. Prayer Line, commanding your morning to influence your day.
Want to OneXBet jackpot is here with weekly massive prizes up for grabs. All you have to do is place your bets on any sports game and stand a chance to win. Simply register at onexbet.com.gh. Use promo code JackpotGhana and place your bets. OneXBet is your key to great victories. Feel like a winner. OneXBet. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
The other day, as I was in my kitchen preparing my special jollof made with lily rice for my family, I heard a knock at the door. It was my mechanic. Instead of calling me to pick my car, he brought it himself. I said, "Sure." He said, "F-O." I said, "Take the car back. I will come and pick it myself." As I turned off the fire from under the lily jollof, there was another knock at the door. It was my neighbor. I said, neighbor. He said, "F-O, my dog has jammed your wall again, oh." I said, "Don't be silly. You don't have a dog." My wife and kids came home, and we saw that he enjoyed. So, it was my pastor. He said, "Bless you." I said, "Bless you too." He said, "Did he come to church on Saturday?" I said, "Acho, but why are you coming to tell me this on Wednesday?"
Having to fend off visitors at mealtimes because of Lily's tasty aromatic rice? Celebrate every mealtime by sharing with friends and family near or far.
Lily, tasty food, happy family. This advert is FDA approved.
You provide the fire.
Flip the music.
Running around with the scar on my leg. Who's gonna help? I'm in pain. Release me from this hurt. You left me in jail. Left me in jail. Running around with the scar on my leg. Who's gonna help? I'm in pain. Release me from this hurt. You left me in jail. Left me in jail.
Times I was trying to make sure you're happy. I should have been focused on getting my pay. She's got me feeling like love is a game, and I cannot find my way out. It feels like I'm trapped in a maze. When I gave you my all, you weren't doing the same. I'm guessing we weren't on a similar page. Do you love me for me or the fame? Do you love me for me or the bands? If JB went clear, would you still claim him as your man? KMT all the time I invested, I should have been chasing bread with the gang. Love you again, I don't know if I can. Late nights we'll talk about goals and dreams. It's mad, we have so many plans.
But you draw the line, say. But you say it loud, say. Me ni ungo. I say what's in BT, we can go. Running around with the scar on my leg. Who's gonna help? I'm in pain. Release me from this hurt. You left me in jail. Left me in jail. Running around with the scar on my leg. Who's gonna help? I'm in pain. Release me from this hurt. You left me in jail. Left me in jail.
It's crazy, I thought you would hold me down. Fell in love with a Ghana babe, but there's no love in this crazy town. So many times that you done my wrong right now, man, I feel like I'm losing count. Plenty of times that you told my lies, countless times I let you slide. You were taking a kid for a clown. I lied when I said it was only you. It weren't just you, I was trying to pursue. Your friends told you that you weren't the only one. I was wondering how you knew. You miss the person I was before. You're saying I've changed ever since I blew. There were things you were hiding too. Don't act like you were the perfect you.
But you draw the line, say. But you say it loud, say. Me ni ungo. I say what's in BT, we can go. Running around with the scar on my leg. Who's gonna help? I'm in pain. Release me from this hurt. You left me in jail. Left me in jail. Running around with the scar on my leg. Who's gonna help? I'm in pain. Release me from this hurt. You left me.
So that's music from our very good friend Jackie. She was with us during the night with the stars here in Kumasi, and this one is titled Scar. Great, beautiful tune indeed. Well, so it's a Wednesday, the last day in the month of May. Have you registered your SIM already? Because after today, you get to lose it permanently. So make sure that you get it registered, all right? And that conversation we've been talking about, myself and some of my team members, Delali at TRC, Eugene, Oseitu, Tulio, Stanley, and all, we've gotten to that stage where we have to have that conversation in full. It has to do with a question that we're asking. So many people say they will not take alcohol, not because it's sinful, but because of the dangers, the health dangers in there. So they rather resort to the intake of sugar-sweetened beverages. Now, you know what I mean by that. I don't want to mention the brand name here. Which one is more dangerous? In your own thoughts, in your own estimations, which one do you think is more dangerous? What would you want to know about these fizzy drinks? 055-1111-995 is our WhatsApp number. Let's hear from you. It's 055-1111-995. Anything about these fizzy drinks, anything at all you want to know about it, ask questions and get the right answers. Now, like I said a while ago, many don't take alcohol, knowing the dangers it poses and to their health. So they rather will resort to what they call the soft drinks. I don't know which one is your favorite, but these soft drinks are dangerous to your health. Now, research shows that Ghana is experiencing a surge in non-communicable diseases. Mention can be made of heart diseases, strokes, some cancers, and many others. This is where the fear and the major concern is. It is estimated that over 1/3, and I'll take it again, over 1/3 of all adult deaths are due to non-communicable diseases. So we need to be wary of this. Now, there's a team that have done some research working into this, and they are here to help us understand and appreciate the dangers we pose for ourselves when we take these fizzy drinks. So, for example, I was asking this morning, as you go to work today, when you have break and you want to go for lunch, and you buy that rice or you buy that food you want to enjoy, do you buy a soft drink in addition? What soft drink do you buy? Do you know the sugar content in there? Now, your kid left home for school today. I'm sure that you give him or her a lunch pack or a snack pack or something. So you give that child something to go drink. Do you know the sugar content in there? Do you know the harm you're doing to that child? That's our conversation this morning. And to help us out, we have Professor Reginald Adjetey Annan. He's an associate professor, biochemistry and biotechnology department, KNUST. Prof, good morning to you.
Good morning, thank you.
And also with us is Dr. Charles Apre. He's a senior lecturer, Department of Biochemistry and Biotechnology, KNUST. Doc, good morning to you.
Good morning, David.
And good to have you all with
us. Thank you for having us.
So I saw some bit of a synopsis, yesterday from you guys, and it has reawakened some thoughts in my mind. I don't know whether to call it fear, but it's close to fear. So together with your, with some team members or researchers, you've done, this work you call, or you've named Advocating for Health. Tell us about this work.
Okay. So thank you very much, David, one more time for having us. The Advocacy for Health project is being done by a coalition of researchers from the University of Ghana, KNUST, the 5 public universities in Ghana, as well as the Ghana NCD Alliance.
The NCD again meaning the non-communicable disease. So going forward, when they say NCD, you know what it is. All right.
Ghana NCD Alliance, the Ghana Public Health Association, and then the Ghana Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. So as these names suggest, you can see that these are groups that are very keen and concerned about the health of Ghanaians. And we can all see where the health of Ghanaians is going as far as non-communicable diseases are concerned. They are increasing. Many more, the deaths that we see globally and in poor countries like Ghana are more associated with these non-communicable diseases than with before, like those times when we had infections and infectious diseases. And they are really related to how people live their lifestyles. And among them, the most important is what you eat.
What you eat. And what you drink.
And what you drink. And when we say eat, I mean basically what goes into you.
We're ingesting them.
Ingesting them, basically.
Before I go to Dr. Apre, Prof, tell me this, and that's what we're asking our listeners to also share their thoughts on. So many will be reluctant in taking alcohol, not necessarily because they are religious, but because they think that there are health dangers in there. So many people, especially children and females or women, they would settle for what they call the soft drinks, and the soft drinks are the ones that mostly we refer to as the sugar-sweetened beverages. Between the alcohol and these sugar-sweetened beverages, which one is more dangerous for our health?
Okay, so if in my candid opinion, sugar-sweetened beverages are more dangerous, and I will explain.
Please do, but sugar-sweetened beverages they are more dangerous.
Some say sugary drinks in generally, but it's not that when you say sugary drinks, you are not completely correct, because There are some juices where maybe just juice the orange, and then you're drinking the juice. You've not added sugar. The sugar that it has are the natural sugars it comes with. So then it's a sugary drink, but it's not a sugar-sweetened beverage. Now, the sugar-sweetened beverages are the beverages people have made and have added sugar. Therefore, the sugar in them are not natural. And they are what we will call simple sugars. Basically, what it means is that when you drink them, the body doesn't do anything to them. It goes straight into your blood, and then it increases your blood sugar levels. And they are more dangerous than alcohol because, you see, alcohol, unless you are drinking in excess, and there are also recommendations for what you can drink, then you are fine. But these sugar-sweetened beverages, there are no recommendations for even meeting for how much you can drink, because even when you drink 1 can, you have gone beyond your sugar requirements for the day.
We'll talk about that, because when we make a can of, for example, a drink, let's say the sugar-sweetened beverage, what does it contain? And that's where the mathematics will come in, where we talk about the 6 to 9 teaspoonfuls of, and all that. But again, haven't heard Professor, say that, he thinks that fizzy or sugary drinks are more dangerous than alcohol. He's not promoting the intake or drinking of alcohol.
At all.
He's not. But Dr. Apri, let's do this. Why the craze for such drinks anyway? I'm talking about the fizzy drinks or the sugar-sweetened beverages. Why the craze?
Thank you very much, David. So I think one of the things that has been a challenge now is the fact that, let me come down to our Kumasi here. When you drive across the streets, most of these new shops, and I've observed, when new structures are put up, about 3-4 stores at the basement, 3-4 stores at the top. The basement, one of them is solely to sell what we call sugar-sweetened beverage. And so it's all available in our environment. And once it's all available in our environment, it becomes what people are able to buy and what people see when they want to make an option of what to drink. Of course, we did one research with our counterpart from the University of Western Cape in South Africa, where we tried to look at obesogenic. When it's obesogenic, these are how the environment is promoting obesity. And then when we did a little bit of mapping of Kumasi around Ahojo and all that, you realize that most of these shops in there are stuffed with these obesogenic drinks, or what we classify as sugar-sweetened beverage. So at the end of the day, it's about what is available. And research has proven that people would usually take in what is within their environment. Of course, let's also not forget that sugar has that, how do you call it? What's the word? Addictive behavior.
This morning, when I learned something this morning that says that sugar is 10 times, has more addiction in it than cocaine. It's like 10 times more than cocaine, 10 times more than cigarettes, and it is based on research. What about sugar makes it so addictive anyway?
Well, I think it's sweet. Everybody wants sweet things. Apart from that, I also think that the body actually has a mechanism. Of course, we have our genetic predisposition. And so when you take this sugar, your body actually prime for it. And so there is a time when you would even want to say that for some reason I want to go down on my sugar intake. And it takes a little bit of discipline, because once you want to switch and go off it a little, you need a little bit more of self-discipline, of course, behavioral change, communication, where you understand the impact of what you are drinking. So it becomes a little difficult, of course, because of the nature of it, if I should put it that way. So these are the challenges associated with the sugar.
So when we go out there, I'm happy you mentioned that when you drive around, see new shops springing up, old ones all selling sugar-sweetened beverages. Unfortunately, it is more children and women who are patronizing more than the men in this context. And you go to some places, some supermarkets, and they say natural fruit juice. Are they really natural? Prof.
Well, so number one, if it's natural, and you've not added anything, the shelf life, and so I'm sorry for the big word, like how long you can keep it on the shelf will be much lower. So that's why most of the natural fruit juices, they say 2 days maximum or 5 days maximum, and then you have to use it. So most of the ones that you see that they are not natural.
But it's 100% natural.
Unless they are saying that they've not sweetened it with sugar, but that one you have to say no added sugar. Then we know that the sugar in it is what it comes with. But most often than not, it is not natural. And even then, they have added a lot of other additives and preservatives to keep it that long. And so the naturalness, Is it and so we don't want to go into things around labeling. We must have policy that controls how people label the products they have, because if you don't label them well, you are deceiving the population.
What would you want to see in terms of the labeling? And the point is, do we read the labeling anyway as Ghanaians? We go to the shelves, we don't read. We just pick and we pay and we go. Do we read the labeling, and what should be on the labeling that would enable us be well informed in any way?
Thank you. So what let me come in. So what I want to put across here is that, of course, I'm on a committee now with the Standards Food and Drugs Authority, and then we're trying to come up with a policy on front of pack labeling in Ghana. So it's ongoing now. I must put it that way.
How far have you gone with that?
I think we are getting there.
No, I don't want that one. We're getting there where? Are we 90%?
No, probably I should probably, if I want to give a percent, maybe 40-50%. So we are getting there. But what I wanted to put across is that in other countries, we've found a nice way of labeling. When you go to most of these Asian countries, when this sugar-sweetened beverage or any drink is put on the shelf, we use the color code, the traffic light color code. And that makes it easier. And so there's a red zone, there's a yellow zone, or there's a green zone. Sometimes there's a red label, a yellow label, and a green label.
Yeah, I know about red label and black label.
And I'm not referring to that anyway. And when you look at these labels, it makes it a bit easier for people to comprehend what the labels mean. Of course, even us as an expert, sometimes it needs to take you almost about 3, 4, 5 minutes reading every detail of the label before you can pick up that there's an added sugar. And it's not always that it is written sugar. Sometimes you can add high fructose corn syrup, HFCS. There are various technical terms that are in there that would not let you pick it up as simple sugars. But then you need to be an expert to know.
So, listeners, one thing you should have at the back of your mind as we have this conversation is this. A lot of kids out there are becoming obese. A lot of women out there are becoming obese. And trust me, if you become obese, maybe your man will leave you for somebody who's slimmer. All right? So be mindful of obesity. As you gulp down those sugar-sweetened beverages, you're harming yourself in terms of size. Aside from that, there are some health implications as well. We've talked about cardiovascular issues, the heart issues. We've talked about some cancers. And we'll be going into detail of all of that shortly. But what I want to know is this. So let's be practical here. As a human being, and please talk about the male, the female adult, and then the child. How much sugar do I need in a day? And when I pick, let's say, a can of a carbonated drink, what would you say the sugar contents are, and what are the dangers that come along with it?
Thank you. So when you pick a can of a carbonated drink, you must know the volume. Okay. So how much is in it? Because some are big, some are small. So now I'm using the normal 330 ml can drink that we have on the market. Now each of them contains close to 9 cubes of sugar or 9 teaspoons of sugar. Now this is far above the requirement for people. Now for children below 2 years, there's no requirement. There's zero requirement for sugar.
Okay.
So sugar should not be added to their food at all.
At all.
Diet for children below 2 years.
Below 2 years.
Yes.
Nothing sugary should be part of their meals.
Like this. So I don't want to go into biochemistry, but sugar means like carbohydrates and sugars, but like simple sugar, like just normal table sugar, should not be in the thing.
Okay.
Including the syrups and all that, the corn syrups and other things that they put in.
Why? What does it do to them?
Well, so at that age, the body really cannot handle simple sugars. So all the sugar must come in the form of what we call complex sugars or carbohydrates that the body will digest, and then it will go into the body.
Okay.
Now, from 2 years to 18 years, the requirement is 6 teaspoons.
From 2
coming to 18 years old.
Okay.
And it should come from, you see, these simple sugars. It's coming from everything you are eating, apart from the drinks. And so if one drink alone contains 9 cubes, it means that children 2 to 18 years shouldn't drink any soft drink or fizzy drink a day.
We go for parties, and kids are so addicted to some of these sugar-sweetened beverages.
Yeah.
They gulp not one bottle or one can, but 2, 3, or even more than 3.
Yeah.
And you're saying that they should take what?
It should
between 2 and 18.
Even shouldn't be one can, because one can has more than the requirement for 2 to 18 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
Now let's say women.
Okay.
Now women also, the requirement is 6 cubes or 6 teaspoons, which 1 can of a soft drink is more than
6 teaspoons a day.
A day.
Okay.
Of the simple sugars.
Okay.
1 can of a soft drink is more than that. It's 9. Now, when you take adult men, it's 9 cubes, which is 1 can of a soft drink. So probably it's only adults like us, men, who can drink 1 a day.
Okay.
Like I'm saying, it's not coming for, and that 1 can, you may drink more than that in a day. And then you may be getting other sugars from, even when you drink your like tea or coffee and Milo, that you add some sugar. So you're at the end of the day, it's far more than what people need. But you said something about obesity increasing in children and women, and you see that more often than not, it is they who drink more of these fizzy drinks, and that is why obesity, overweight and obesity are increasing in children and women.
So before we talk about the health benefits or dangers in there, why do we still have them on our shelves anyway?
I think it's about regulation and then about policies. In countries which have gone way ahead of us with this sugar tax, if I may introduce that. Let me use South Africa as an example. A couple of years, we've been to South Africa a number of times, and Karen Hoffman and co, who led that advocacy. What they did was that they pushed for the enactment of sugar tax. Of course, yes, sugar tax. Of course, the benefit of it is that most of these companies started reformulating.
Okay.
And when I say reformulating, there is a ceiling for the amount of sugar that should be in that drink. And once these companies know they go beyond that level, you're going to pay huge taxes. Of course, once you pay huge taxes, it means that the cost of the drink becomes expensive. And probably people who don't have enough will not be able to purchase that. And so most of these companies went in there to start reformulating. In Ghana, we've not done much, as I indicated to you, because the policies and of course, we know recently there's been a introduction of sugar tax.
Tax, yeah.
We will discuss that later, of course, what we make of that. But at the end of the day, my thinking is that we operated a little bit of a free market. And it's about somebody being able to import something, and then once he's able to put on the market and put an advertisement on TV, on radio, it's up there for people to buy.
But do we have any policy touching on the importation of some of these ones? So when we look at the ingredients used in these drinks, it goes beyond certain levels. So this one, we ban it, we're not going to bring it in. Do we have any such policy?
Yeah, we did a couple of that, like the chofi, the turkey tail. You still see it around. That's not even sugar.
That's facts,
Yeah, that's facts.
So there was a time when we were so interested in fat, and that was when there came a fatty meat policy. And it had cut-offs for how much fat can be in the meat before it can be sold on the market. So, and that's what affected chofi, because chofi is basically all fat.
Yeah.
So it led to the ban of chofi, and then the chicken legs. People who eat chicken legs, it's basically skin on the bone, and the skin is all fat.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be eaten.
What about the ban that was placed on some of the cubes? Like the white one, is it the MSG cubes?
MSG, monosodium glutamate.
Yeah. So there was a ban on that one. What are we waiting for before we really act? What do we normally wait for?
Well, so there must be advocacy like we are doing now, because sometimes, I don't want to say politicians know, but sometimes they are in the business themselves, and the food industry can also be quite difficult to deal with because they know the truth, but they won't do what the truth is. And because they know sugar is addictive, you see, the more sugar there is in the thing, the more you want it. And so they think that if they reduce the sugar in the content, in the product, they are going to reduce, people will reduce their consumption and they will lose some money.
And here we are, 1/3, per the research work done and your findings, 1/3 or more than 1/3 of adult deaths are as a result of the non-communicable diseases. We'll be getting there shortly.
Yeah, I was. You said the food companies know, the effects of these things, but could we talk about legislation? Because I did a little bit reading on that, and it was a deep rabbit hole to the point where even some of these companies pay MPs and other people in government to shelve some of the researches that are done on this, just to keep the information away from people. If these things are found out, can't we take action against it? Because they are killing people and they know that they are killing people, but they are doing it.
Yeah, that's a good one. So as researchers, what we do is advocacy. And of course, the GAN I'm referring to, Ghana Association of Nutrition and Dietetics, have taken the lead in these advocacies. So there are a lot of advocacy out there. Like I indicated to you, now we also feel strongly that most of the para institutions like Food and Drugs Standards Authority are also collaborating with the researchers a lot. And that's how come I mentioned that now there's a front of pack labeling policy, and I'm on that committee which is coming up with this front of pack labeling. So yes, I want to believe that as Prof said, the food industry is very strong. Of course, they have the money, they have the finances and all that. At the end of the day, you need to be very strategic in your advocacy. And when it comes to policies, it takes a lot of a process to get there. So it starts with advocacy, and I feel that's what we are doing now.
So let's now talk about the dangers it poses to our health. Now, I have mentioned a few, but you take them up and tell us much more, because we're talking about cardiovascular diseases or heart diseases for that matter. We've talked about some cancers. We've talked about other non-communicable diseases, diabetes, hypertension, and all that. Tell us about the relation between these sugar-sweetened beverages and these disease conditions.
Diseases. Yeah. So thank you very much. So it starts with overweight and obesity. The more sugar you consume, and most of this excess sugar is not needed in the body, so the body stores it. One of the ways the body stores it for the long time is to convert the sugar into fat and store, so you will gain weight. Now, overweight and obesity are risk factors for more than 13 different cancers and all the cardiovascular diseases. So we must fight overweight and obesity. That's number one. Now, number two, diabetes, as an example. So even if you are not overweight and obese, but you are consuming a lot of these simple sugars from the sugar-sweetened beverages, the sugar enters and the body doesn't have to digest it, so it gets into the blood and increases your blood your blood sugar. So when you go to you start to have some symptoms, and then they test and they say you have diabetes. It doesn't end there. If it's not controlled, the diabetes would even lead to more complications, because the sugar levels in the blood, once it's in the blood, it hasn't gotten into the body where it will be used. It is roaming. It gets into the eyes. It will cause cataracts or diabetic retinopathy. If it gets into the kidneys, it's going to get nephropathy, or the kidneys are going to fail. If it gets into the nerves, neuropathy, your nervous system, and what makes your system to work and your brains to work will all be problematic. If the sugar in the blood also can block the vessels. The vessels are the components that let things go move in your blood. So it goes from to the different organs that they are needed. Once the vessels block or become narrow, the blood pressure will rise, because the blood is now pushed with a pressure to get it to go through the small narrow veins and the arteries. What that means is that you're going to develop high blood pressure. High blood pressure is now the commonest outpatient disease that is reported in the hospitals among
the one they call the silent killer.
Hypertension. And you walk with it can lead to stroke, because it can go into the brains and burst, and then lead to stroke. It can lead to heart failure, and it can lead to so many other things.
All because of sugar consumption. Okay, so how long does it take to manifest? I mean, these things you're talking about, I'm sure it doesn't happen overnight, does it?
No, please. I mean, most of these non-communicable diseases drags over a period of time. So it's not like you eat the sugar or you take in the sugars and immediately the effects are there. But these are long-term effects. Of course, research has also proven that once you're able to minimize your intake of this, you could also go a long haul even before some of these NCDs will show up. So it's and the thing about NCDs is that, as I think I heard you early on when we were driving here, that it comes and eventually stays with you. So it's once you get there, it's not curable. It's managed, and then it take you through the rest of your life.
So this is really dangerous. Huh?
Yes.
Do we have some statistics to speak to? So, for example, when you look at children, for example, how many children are obese as a result of the intake of this sugary stuff? If you look at women, how many women are obese, or how many women are hypertensive as a result of the intake of these? Do we have some statistics?
Yes, we do. In fact, we've done some research in Kumasi here. Our target was to look at obesity in children. And I think we focused, in fact, for some reason, we tried to focus on children in the basic school and then children in the public school. And I guess basic public school and basic how do you call it, the private schools, and I guess your guess will be as good as
the ones who attend the private schools are from rich homes.
Exactly.
Theirs will be higher.
Exactly.
And then we will fall like me.
Exactly.
Who attend the public schools and all that. Ours will be low because our parents cannot afford them.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I think our prevalence was around 22-23%.
But there are also studies that cover the rest of the country, like nationally representative studies, and that show that among women, obesity is overweight and obesity is more than 40%.
It's true. When you go out there and you see them.
For every 10 women, it means more than 4 are overweight or obese. So their risk for all these diseases are high.
How about the deaths? Do you have statistics? Yes, I know internationally the WHO channels some figures. In Ghana, do we have specific data we can speak to?
So we don't have the national data on deaths from NCDs because, again, research needs money to do and conduct, and there are no policies on research, so there's no money to do the national ones. But the small ones that we have done, like the pocket of studies in different areas, regions of the country, some have reported deaths of, people who have overweight and obesity. Risk of death is more than twice those that are not overweight or obese. And so the levels are very high, but we don't have the national ones. We have WHO's data that shows for Ghana, as Ghana, there are more than 90,000 deaths from NCDs every year. And it stands at more than 3 in 10 people. And it's projected that by 2030, NCDs will be the highest cause of death in Ghana.
By 2030. NCDs.
If we remain on
the same
path.
track. Yeah. You mentioned that there are roughly some 13 or a little over 13 cancers that are affect us as a result of this. Can you run us through some of the cancers? And before you do, let's make some money.
So, looking for a quick and hassle-free loan with no collateral required? Look no further. CBG Smart Loan is designed to help your business access funds without collateral. With our SME Smart Loan, you can access a quick and hassle-free loan without collateral, comfortable monthly loan repayment schedule, collection services with our Sika Collect platform to save you the trouble of visiting the branch to make payments. Don't let financial constraints hinder your entrepreneurial dreams. Walk into any of our 114 branches nationwide or contact us on 0302 216-000 for more information. You can also reach us on all our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Email is info@cbg.com.gh. The website is www.cbg.com.gh. Terms and conditions, of course, do apply. CBG, we stand with you.
All right, so, and I want to win some money, make some money. But I don't
yes,
want to the information.
With 590 mobile, right?
Yeah.
People are winning just by dialing star 959 hash, selecting the game of the day, be it Monday special all the way to Sunday. But if you don't know what the rundown is, when you win, let me tell you, if you win, make sure that you don't go and run your mouth saying it's a disco, or else your girlfriend will come for some, your friends will come for you, and then your mama will say, give me some. So keep it on the hash when you win on 590 mobile, and always remember to stick responsibly, and it's not for persons below 18 years. 590 mobile, down 7.
So give us a few of the cancers here.
In fact, almost all the cancers that we know about, the risk for them are higher in overweight and obese people than non-overweight, normal health and weight people. And we are talking about breast cancer, especially in women. So overweight and obese women are more likely to develop breast cancer than healthy, normal weight women. We have cancer of the stomach, colon cancers, we have a cancer of esophagus, esophageal cancer, liver cancers. They're all higher in overweight and
they are also as a result of the intake of these sugar-sweetened. But that's what brings about obesity.
That's what brings the overweight and obesity.
But Dave, there's a problem. A lot of Ghanaian men prefer women with, who are very well endowed.
Not the women. They are curves women. But I've seen some people who take some of these sugar-sweetened beverages and they mix it with water. Does it help? I have seen some people who think that when you take some of these sugar-sweetened beverages, you need to do some form of exercise, some high performance energy exerting, activity that would also help burn the sugar and the fat and all that. So first of all, mixing it with water, does it help? The exercises or being very active, does it help?
So basically, it's about the volume. So maybe people mix so that they don't drink plenty. But eventually, if you drink that full volume of the diluted drink, you have had that volume of sugar that was in it.
Wow.
Okay, so it doesn't help. But I'm saying that maybe somebody could have drank 2, but because they have diluted, they are drinking less. They will drink 1. But overall, the 9 cubes of sugar will still be in your system. Now, the second question relating
exercising.
If you say so, research shows that for a child who drinks 1 can of the sugar-sweetened beverage, they have to cycle 30 minutes. Continuously that day. And so if they drink 2 that day, 60. Every day to burn that. Now, for an adult who drinks 1 can, they have to do brisk walking for at least 30 minutes. Now, which most of us don't have the opportunity to do.
We're doing the sedentary lifestyle all
yes.
through.
So why do we go through all that? And research shows that if you drink 1 can of this SSB every day, in a year you have eaten 25 kg of sugar.
What?
Yes.
Take it again. Say it again. Say it again.
Drinking 1 can of this SSB every day, in a year you have drinking almost 25. You have drunk. Sorry, my mind is overzealous. You have drunk 25 kg of sugar.
What?
I mean,
but the sad bit is this. The sad bit is this. People still will take their normal morning beverage, put sugar in there. Then during the day would also take, what do you call it? These carbonated or canned drinks and
with some pie or something.
And with some pie. So they're adding on the sugars.
Yes. Exactly.
And
in the evening too, you eat fufu.
So what you just said is scary. If you take just one can of the carbonated drink a day, in a whole year, 12 months, you've taken 25
kg of sugar.
Yeah.
But I was going to talk a little bit about the exercise bit. See, I always say in class when I'm teaching my students that our body weight is a net of your input and then your output. And so on the bit of obesity, one of the advocacies is that we increase our output, and the output is the exercise. It's more or less, and I usually use our bank account. If your expenditure is more than your income, then you are almost always going to be in debt. And then if your income is also more than your expenditure, then in a way you are saving. And so at the end of the day, how much you take in and what your body size is determined by how much you take in and how much you put out there. So if you are, sometimes I always say that one way, either we are controlling from the intake level, which is the dietitian, the nutritionist telling you don't take amount that. Another way of controlling is the output, and which is the physical activity and the exercise. So one of the advocacies is that we also try as much as possible to increase our physical activity.
So you said that when we even mix it with water, it doesn't really make any difference.
Of course, if you end up taking the whole can, you're still virtually taking the same quantity.
So in all that we're saying, is it to suggest that we're not supposed to take them at all?
That's a good question.
So there should, I would say that they should be reformulated. They don't have to have that amount of sugar.
Okay.
And because we talked about the tank develops taste over time. So people have developed taste for something that is sweet. When we're growing up, when people buy popcorn, they prefer the salt one.
Now
salt
sugar
is the problem. We'll come to that later, another time. But now people want the sugar one. So when you go, you see the popcorn in the salt one is full,
and the
sugar one is running out. Yeah.
But you see, taste also can change over time. So when you reformulate and you reduce the sugar drastically, and that's what people have access to. This is why you talked about the food environment, what you see. If what you see is what is healthy, with time, you will develop the taste for less sugar, beverage, or even non-sugar sweetened beverages.
Listen, if you're looking for quick and hassle-free loan with no collateral required, not to go get a loan and go and take fizzy drinks, but to invest into your business, then go straight to CBG. CBG Smart Loan is designed to help your business access funds without collateral. With their SME Smart Loan, you can access a quick and hassle-free loan without collateral. Comfortable monthly loan repayment schedule, collection services with Sika Collect platform to save you the trouble of visiting the branch to make payments. Don't let financial constraints hinder your entrepreneurial dreams. Walk into any of our 114 branches nationwide or contact us on 0302 216 000 for more information. Now, you can also reach us on all our social media handles, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Send us a mail to info@cbg.com.gh or visit our website, www.cbg.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. CBG, we stand with you. Let's now talk about the taxes. Now, I'm wondering how much difference the taxes that have been introduced recently is going to help. Now, I ask this because we have cautions and taxes on cigarettes, yet people are smoking. We have taxes on alcohol, yet people are drinking, and drinking big and large. So what difference would taxation on sugar-sweetened beverages, what difference would it make?
Thank you very much, David. So in public health policy, one of the things that we do, of course, to change people's behavior and attitude of what they take in is these taxes, as you rightly put it. One thing about taxes is that, of course, once the tax is on the product, means that the cost is higher, and then people are unable to purchase that. Another advantage of
is
the
it people
tax,
who are not able to, or many people will not be able to? Because for people who, the research you did in the public and the private schools, for example, it tells you the homes that they're coming from.
Yeah.
So those homes where they think that they are well to do, and they see some of the intake of these things as being affluent or living well and all, they will still buy it no matter what their taxes are.
They may, but also you see what the tax is doing, and the tax is not the only thing that can be done. You can do outright ban, but of course you will have a backlash that you may not be able to deal with. The taxation is to reduce consumption.
Okay.
Because we think that, of course, if we can reduce NCD's risk and the deaths that are coming from NCDs by 30%, we've done something. So we can't eliminate NCDs, but we can reduce it. So we want people to reduce their consumption.
And that's why you're for the taxes.
Yes,
what else?
Then another advantage of the taxation, as I indicated to you, if you go into Australia has done that, South Africa, a lot of countries have done that. 80 countries in the world have done that successfully now.
What have they done?
And what I've seen in most of these policy documents is that when these taxes are put on these products, the funds, the money that is made out of the tax is now invested into health advocacy, is now invested into health promotion, is now invested to health insurance. Of course, our health insurance, we know, David, has struggled and over the years with funding. And so my advocacy and what we've told the policymakers at the top there is that let's get these taxes, but these taxes should not go into constructing our roads.
It should go into healthcare delivery
and then advocacy and all that.
What was the response like from them when you told them?
Well,
we are hoping that would be.
Have you communicated that to?
Yes, we have.
And what's the response?
Not that I know of, but what I know is that this A4H, when we had a bit of a, if I should use the term, lobbyist in Parliament where we were pushing for this. Of course, I want to believe that if you look at the stories of countries that have been successful, the first leg of it is to get the taxes. Now the taxes are in there, we will continue with advocacy now to push that funds raised out of the tax should specifically go into health.
So listeners, join us on 03-220-83596, 03-220-83597 and 03-220-83598. You've heard the dangers of the consumption of what we refer to as the SSBs, the sugar-sweetened, beverages. Kids are drinking all manner of things, eating all manner of things. They are becoming obese. Adults, especially women, are becoming obese. They're having hypertension. I think it's 51% women.
Yeah.
Yes.
And 34% men.
Yes.
The situation is getting bad by the day. So, what do you want to know about these things? What do you think ought to be done about this? Especially when you're being told that even those who are taking alcohol, they are a little safer than those who are consuming the sugar-sweetened beverages. Call us on 03-220-83596, 03-220-83597, and 03-220-83598. If there's any question at all you have on your mind, let's allay the concerns. Let's answer them for you. You can also send us WhatsApp messages to 05511119995. Ishak, good morning. Hello, Ishak. Ishak, hello? Can you hear me?
Hello.
All right, so let
this
me
is Ishak.
quick. Nana, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm well.
Okay, I'm glad I have you. I've been trying to get you since last Thursday. There's a question that is pertinent, and I want to ask. Pacho, the account the accountant did about our donations, he didn't do it well. The calculation, how much money was received through mobile money alone? He never mentioned that. Look, we had another mobile money number, this X amount that we received only on mobile money. So at least if someone even donated 5 cedis or 10 pesos or whatever it is, we can have an account on it. He never mentioned that. That's just by the way. And I'm going to ask you a second question. Now
so once you raise a concern, we'll put it together. We'll share with you either before close of day today, or we'll do that tomorrow. Thank you very much.
And then the second question I'm going to ask you. Now that we know of the dangers of this, I think that is not the only danger that we have. Should you come on air, and then one of these companies bring the advert to you, are you going to run it? That just by the way.
All right.
And then another last thing, that is not the only dangers we have. When it rains, go through the drains. The plastics that we see are all from these things that we are consuming left, right, center. And it's not even endangering only on our health, it's endangering us also on the environmental side. And I wonder these people, the politicians, just as the man in the studio said, probably they are, they are affluent people, the ones that are rich, and then these companies there, and then they own it, so they are not going to tax it or something. But we should start hitting them that at least, apart from the health implications on us, affecting us on the environmental side. So you should stop to the in fact. Oh, and let me give you a typical example. There's a bottle thing that when you are infant.
Thank you very much for joining us. You raised 3 issues. You want us to account to you, which of course I think is fair. As to how much Momo came through, we'll do that and we'll share that with you. Aside from that, we also talked about whether we would advertise if anybody brings such product here. If you listen carefully to Love 99.5, or for that matter, multimedia, we hardly advertise some of these things because what we do is we do our own checks, we do some cross, whatever before we roll them out. So we hardly advertise these things. As to how we destroy the environment because of the littering that we do, you and I know we've talked about sanitation issues for so long, so we're still on it. Thank you very much. Isaac, good morning and welcome. Isaac. Hi, Isaac.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Isaac. Let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, Dave. Thank you very much, and I want to commend you for this work that you are doing. In fact, these education are what we need because the rate at which young people are passing away these days are very, very heartbreaking and very alarming. I want to suggest that I think and I believe that this topic has not been exhausted, and so if possible, there should be a continuation, probably tomorrow. But I think that the politicians in all these two have a major role that they have to play, just as the doctor or the professor said. Most of them are into some of these drinks and all that, so even though they are aware of the dangers that it poses to the human health, they will still bring it. So I would just say that more advocacy should be done about this. People should start speaking against these things because these drinks are all over the market, all over. They I don't know how to put it, but then it's very dangerous. And then, like just as I said, I would be happy if this is done again, like a continuation of this is done.
All right. So Isaac, what I can say to you is that we're going to have a part 2 tomorrow. The part 2 has to do with the food itself. Today we focus attention on the drinks. Tomorrow is going to be on the food itself, what we eat. Okay, we're talking about the spices. Also, you use more of the kokomesa to spice our chicken. This time around, there's all manner of cubes out there. Before you go out there, you pick nutmeg, and then you grate it and you use it for food. This time it's in containers. So don't worry, we'll continue tomorrow and talk about foods. And it's kind of dangers we pose for ourselves when we buy food in polythene bags. I saw this TikTok video of Kofi Kenetta. Also, fancy dog on crack was the rubber. What the rubber share? Maybe you. So 03220-83596. You can call us. See, SK. Good morning.
Good morning. Please, my question is: are there healthier substitutes for sugar? Because I have stumbled upon the dangers of sugar long ago during my course of study, and I've stopped taking soft drinks and the other sugars for a very long time. But I resorted to using stevia and honey. So I want to find out if I'm safe.
I would answer your question for you whether the honey and the scabies are better.
No, stevia.
Stevia. I've heard people even say brown sugars and all that. They'll give you an answer. That was SK there. Can we speak to Godwin now? Hi, Godwin.
Godwin, yes. David, good morning, and thanks for another beautiful program. I think it's long overdue. We should have had this long ago. I had a talk with a doctor, and I think it's almost 15 years now. And after realizing that, I concentrated myself, and as I'm speaking to you now, almost 15 years now, I take raw coffee without sugar. I gradually started it, and now I take raw coffee without sugar. Anything, whether porridge, whatever, I make sure I don't add sugar to it. You see, and I've been trying on my kids too. Before they take soft drink, it's occasional and unceremonious. That is how I've been training them. Because I realize that it's not good and need to do something about it. I think parents are another factor. Some parents think that when you buy soft drink for kids, that shows how well you are and how worthy that you are and how good you are in taking care of a kid. But I think the education and sensitization is a factor that we need to take critical. But on the side of the sugar regulation, I think that we need to have regulation, proper regulation, that when you are producing a beverage, the kind of beverage that you produce as a country, what kind of quantity that we should have in our sugar per our health issues. That is what I think we should rather be doing more rather than thinking of taxes. Because if at the end of the day, as you were asking, we even increase the taxes and people still think they should have it. When you are addicted to something, no matter the cost, sometimes you will still get in there when you don't know how to regulate it. So regulation is supposed to be the main issue because elsewhere when you go, you realize that the soft drink that you take here, even though it's internationally produced, when you go to some places, other countries, you realize that the content is low. And why is it that we can't do it here?
I hear you. Godwin, thank you very much. We'll pick 2 more calls and then we'll call it a day here. But we'll continue tomorrow to talk about foods and the dangers that we are facing. Michael, good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Dave.
Welcome, Michael.
I hope you're doing well.
This is my shepherd as always. I'm well. Thanks for asking.
In fact, I've really appreciated this program we're doing. Actually, I'm a health worker, to be precise, a nurse at Ascora Mampo. And I did a project work my final year into research into obesity, the prevalence among women. There's one thing I want to suggest. If possible, this program should also be heard or should be also be done on our local diet so that people will get more insight about it because people consume what we are ignorant or we are not aware of what we have been doing. So that we have to let them knowledge about what we've been consuming. So I think or I suggest that if this program can also be done in the future so that it will go down well to the people within our locality, I think it will be our best help to the people within this community. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Let's speak to our final caller. I think George is on the line. Hi, George. Good morning. Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, David. How are you, Dave?
George, I am well. Good to have you, sir.
Thank you, David. David, thank you very much for this laudable program. David, the way these sugary drinks is killing even our youth. David, if you go to a construction site, you see these strong men who are digging foundation. And when they are when it is break time, instead of them going to eat kenke or this gari and beans to gain strength, David, you see that when they are coming back, they are holding this energy drink with bread for their lunch. And if you, David, I used to advise them, they do understand, they do agree with the energy. So when they take the energy drink with, bread, they regain energy. David, and if you go to the north, at the funerals, they are consuming these sugary drinks with their children. It's unacceptable. I've been fighting my family about these drinks. David, it is very good. Continue. Well done.
Well, thank you very much, George, for your contribution and, of course, for the encouragement. Let's pick our final caller. All right. Hi, good morning. Hello. Hello. So let's go on Facebook and read some messages from Facebook.
Okay, this is from Chairman Baby. He says we are doing well. Thank you to Chairman for doing the listening. And Felix Frempong says, well done, Prof and Doc. Proud of you guys and well done, Biochemistry Department. And this one is coming from Richie Valence. He says, very educative and he's proud of you, Professor Reginald Annan. It looks like he's your friend. And Elizabeth Watima Amwatin says, well done, Prof and Doc. We are very, very proud of you. Dr. Lord JJ Gowan says, great education. Well done to the team. And this is from Felix Frimpong. He says, but let's advocate for the prevention instead of the cure. Losing weight is much more difficult than gaining weight. And Pedro Medina Cruz says he's listening to us live inside Indianapolis. Kumasi Tanoso Kesben Jashet.
Well, he got me there briefly. What about WhatsApp? What's on WhatsApp?
Okay, so one message here, he says, sir, though sugar is needed to aid us in our daily workout, the intake of sugar must be checked to help our health, else we are digging our own graves in one way or the other. Thank you. This one, Teacher Ima from Akokere.
Thank you very much, Teacher Ima, for doing the listening and for sending in a message. Somebody wants to know whether the honeys and the other, sugary stuff are better than the ones that we take, including the brown sugar. I have heard about brown sugar and all.
Mm-hmm. So I always advocate that the healthy alternative is water.
Healthy alternative is water.
It's water.
The more I'm tell the money we shouldn't drink alcohol. We shouldn't take sugar, sweetened, what do you call it, beverages. Always take water.
And you see, not just water.
If Leo should marry, and I don't work out because it's so kind of
not just water, but sometimes the challenge with our local drinks, a lot of our local drinks are very healthier. But the challenge is that now, if you take Sobolo, for instance, you're pouring so much sugar in it, and that makes it also SSB. But if you can get a Sobolo with that little or no even sugar, Dasana, all those local berries are very healthy. But the little challenge with them sometimes is because of the contamination. If the production process. If it's done in the right way, there isn't much problem with that. But we are gradually gravitating towards adding a lot of sugars to this our natural.
So about the ingredients or the chemicals, one doctor told me that if you cannot find anything they've written on the box on your kitchen shelf, then it means you should not be eating it. So I saw one post on Facebook, I think it was Sobolo, one of the local, and the ingredients he had written sodium bolo-oxide.
So if you ask the healthy alternative you've advocated for, and the thing about water is, of course, water is water. But at the end of the day, if you look at the metabolic and the significance of how water it is to our body, it's been probably, my view, it's been underestimated.
Okay.
Water is so huge and it does a lot of positive things for us.
But even with the galamsey operations and all that, and the treatment, high cost of treatment, and all that is happening, I'm sure that even water is not as safe as it used to. But what we do is we'll continue tomorrow.
Okay. Yes.
And for those who are listening to us, tomorrow we'll talk about the food itself. So you go to the restaurant and you order for your fried rice or your jollof rice. It's prepared behind the scenes and is brought to your table to enjoy. Do you know what went into it? This MSG we talked about, is it the
monosodium
glutamate? Do you know it's still on the market and some people are using it?
Yes.
You want to eat your chicken or your liver, the kebabs, what do you call that one? The sausages. Do you know the harm we're doing to ourselves? Tomorrow, join us tomorrow and get to know more. But what I want to ask to end on is this. It is addictive. Sugar is addictive, and like I mentioned, sugar is 10 times addictive than even cocaine and cigarettes and all that. How can we take steps back away from the intake of sugar? What do we do?
I think number one is what we are doing, educating people. Once you know the harms in what you're doing, you can take some steps to reduce your intake. Now we're also encouraging the food industry and the beverage industry to try and reformulate and do low sugar alternatives. It is possible. And then we're also telling people, we are now educating people to decide. You should decide that, look, if I do this, it's going to affect my health. And I want to live long to take care of myself and my children, and therefore I'm not going to do it. These are things that we should do. We are hoping that with time we will even move in for bigger regulation, especially if this taxation doesn't yield the results we want to yield, because we are in to protect the health of the people and to promote the health of people.
How do we even get the taxes that have been placed on these things to be used for the health purposes that you mentioned?
Like we said, that's the advocacy we are doing.
But you can do all the advocacy. It might not fall on the right.
David, it does.
They must open the health promotion
there should be a
fund
health
and put it directly into it. It should not be put in the pot with other things, because it will never be used by.
Use it for interchange.
And if you look at the countries that were successful, I remember in Australia, I've mentioned these countries. One of the things the researchers, which we've also trying to do, that economists has been able to more or less do a research to tell us that if you are investing this amount of the tax you are getting into our healthcare, we can reduce the prevalence of this by that. So sometimes when you pick figures to it, the politicians listen.
So tomorrow when you're joining us, please bring some figures. Bring us some figures. Let's put some figures to it. Let's see what benefits are going to come. Because this non-communicable disease we talk about, they live with you for life.
Yeah.
They're expensive to manage.
Yeah.
And our health insurance, like you rightly mentioned, is not really as strong and robust and solid as it should be.
Exactly.
So if we don't have the taxes we make, the money we make from the taxes pushed into the healthcare delivery, the situation will be dire for us going forward.
Yeah.
So let me say a big thank you to both of you for joining us this morning.
David.
They'll be joining us again tomorrow for another leg of the conversation. And I pray that you don't miss it for anything. Let me take this opportunity to say a very big thank you to our guests who have been here with us this morning. We've had Professor Reginald Adjetey Annan. He's an associate professor, biochemistry and biotechnology department of KM University. We also had with us Dr. Charles Apre. He's a senior lecturer, Department of Biochemistry and also Biotechnology, KMST. Apre, where do you come from?
So I'm a fancy.
A fancy you. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fancy. I fancy.